Hey guys, it's Kevin. It's going to be another classic movie review for you guys, and this movie we're going to be reviewing, I've always been very interested in this movie. I've wanted to see it for a while. Finally, I checked it out, for quite a few reasons, and that is the 2002 romantic dramedy classic, Punch Drunk Love. Punch Drunk Love is a movie I've always been interested in, for quite a few reasons. I mean, it's probably the only movie that Adam Sandler I've heard is, I heard it's his best performance, and also, I've always wanted to see a movie from Paul Thomas Anderson, and I have Boogie Nights on Blu-ray, but I don't want to start with that because I heard that's, like, his best one. So I figured why not start with this one because I heard this is, like, his smallest movie, and it's very different than his other movies. So I want to check it out and see if I really liked it. And overall, how was Punch Drunk Love? Punch Drunk Love is an absolute masterpiece. I love this movie. The thing is, though, this movie really is just a love story that's very strange. It's a very strange love story, but I think it's also a very beautiful story that I think is definitely a great movie, and I really did love everything about this movie. I thought it was fantastic. Let's get into the plot of Punch Drunk Love, which I really do love the plot of this movie. Basically, we focus on this antisocial guy, Barry Egan. He probably has one of the worst, most depressing lives I think I've seen in a while. Because he runs his own company that marks, like, toilet plungers and novelty items and things like that. Like, they market those things. But he is completely single. He doesn't really talk to people very well. He has a lot of outbursts, and that's because he has these 7 overbearing sisters who constantly just make fun of him and basically do whatever they can to just make fun of him at any chance they have. I mean, even going so far as to make fun of, like, his clothes and, like, his suit. There's a suit he keeps wearing, and they're like, why do you keep wearing that suit? Like, they're so rude to him, and they don't really give him respect that he deserves, and basically, one day, one of his sisters, Elizabeth, basically introduces him to this girl, Lena, after he witnesses this car accident. She basically wants him to get to try to know Lena, but Barry's not really sure if he's ready to take that next step and actually go out with her and pursue a relationship because of how hard it is to talk to her. But as it starts to go on, you start to see that she really does help him become better. Basically, he has to make that choice of, do I want to be with her, or do I want to continue having this lonely life? And that basically is the plot of Punch Drunk Love. And I think that honestly is an awesome plot. It's a plot that I think a lot of people can relate to as well. The thing about this movie is that it has been claimed to be Paul Thomas Anderson's smallest movie yet. When Paul Thomas Anderson made Punch Drunk Love, he had made 2 big movies, Boogie Nights and Magnolia, the latter being over 3 hours long. So, he was told by this guy, basically, that wanted to make this movie with him, he's like, you have to cut it down, basically. And basically they said that you basically, he basically realized that he had to cut it down, and he had stated that he wanted to work with Adam Sandler in the future, so that's why Punch Drunk Love is a much smaller movie, because he really wanted to cut it down and make a shorter movie, because he knew that while Magnolia was a huge success, he didn't want every single one of his movies to be 3 hours long, and this movie needed to be the length it was, because it is a very small movie. But let's get into Punch Drunk Love, starting with the acting. The acting in this movie is fucking amazing. Adam Sandler as Barry Egan. You know how I've been saying Adam Sandler's been trying to do dramatic roles, but it hasn't been working? This worked perfectly. Seriously, this is what Adam Sandler needs to do. Work with Paul Thomas Anderson, do another movie, I don't care what you have to do, but this movie, he was amazing in this movie. I love the character of Barry Egan, honestly. He was such a compelling character, and you felt so bad for him as well. I mean, in this movie, constantly, he is getting beaten on by his sisters, and he's getting screwed over by someone. He has a really bad life. The only time he really feels content is when he's with Lena, and you really want things to go well for him, and you see, like, the outbursts he has and things like that. This is not a happy guy, like, at all. He's never happy. He hasn't really had a great life, and you really do feel bad for him, and you really want him to be able to turn his life around. I think Adam Sandler did a fantastic job portraying that guy that, is just trying to figure out if he wants to take that next step in his life or not, because honestly, that is a hard choice, especially when you're very lonely and you don't have a lot of friends, and this girl comes into your life. Do you want to take that next step? I thought he did a great job with that. And the way he portrayed, like, Barry's emotions as well. I mean, Barry's a very layered character. He comes across as a very sweet guy, but he really has these anger issues that they're not really his fault. It's from all the rage and all the insults that his sisters have thrown at him. It's gotten to him, and it's basically turned him crazy. And I think he did a fantastic job with that. He was amazing. It's by far his best performance I've ever seen. And I really, really want Adam Sandler to do more movies like this. The Cobbler sort of was like that. I feel like they were going for that with The Cobbler, but it wasn't exactly working. This is more of how successful it can be. Seriously, he did a fantastic job with this movie. Emily Watson as Lena was also fantastic. She's really the only thing that makes Barry happy, and I love the chemistry between these two. As the movie goes on, you start to see that these two are falling in love with each other, and I love that she just saw Barry as this normal guy. She's one of the few people that didn't really see Barry as a guy that had problems. She just saw him as a regular guy, and I thought that was great how they did that. The chemistry between these two is just, to say it's amazing, it's an understatement. They feel like they've been dating in the movie. Like, they worked perfectly. Any scene they had together just works perfectly. And I think they were amazing in the movie. Really, they handled every scene perfectly, and I really loved their characters. You know, a lot of the movie is just them getting to know each other, and it's very engaging dialogue. They have amazing chemistry, and I think they work great together. And you know, most of the movie drives on them. There are other characters in the movie, though. Philip Seymour Hoffman does an amazing job in this movie, especially towards the end of this movie. Holy shit. I don't want to give away what his character does, but he was amazing. Mary Lynn as Elizabeth, who basically is Barry's sister, that pretty much is beating on him the most, and the one you see the most. She, I thought, was really good at basically kind of being like the villain in his life. Everyone else was really good in the movie as well. I think everyone gave a great performance. Everyone really was fantastic, I have to say. The directing by Paul Thomas Anderson. This is a very different movie for Paul Thomas Anderson. I heard it's his weirdest movie, and I've heard it's his most, not like his other films. He wanted to do something different, and honestly, it paid off very well. The movie has a very distinct style to it, and he really directed this to perfection. Really, he did everything he did. He perfected perfectly. You know, the scenes are supposed to be funny. They're funny. And scenes are supposed to be dramatic. They were dramatic. You care about the characters. You know, you have really compelling characters. It really made me love Paul Thomas Anderson as a director. I can't wait to see his other movies, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what else he has to do, because he did a fantastic job with this. The screenplay, by far, though, is one of the best screenplays ever, honestly. I think the screenplay is fantastic to this movie. It's such engaging dialogue, and the dialogue doesn't just feel like, dialogue you'd hear, you know, just movie dialogue. It feels like actual dialogue that characters would say, and I think they did a great job with that. In fact, when Barry was talking, I kind of found that's what I would say, and I thought that was really interesting the way Paul Thomas Anderson did that. I think Barry's a very relatable character. I think all the characters in this movie are very relatable, and I think he did a great job with that. The twists in this movie are fantastic as well. I mean, this is a movie where, let me just say that you never want to have a phone sex line. You never want to ever call a phone sex line, because what's happening to Barry is really going to screw you over, and you don't want that to happen, obviously. I think they did that very well, and I think just the way Paul Thomas Anderson handled all that, I thought he really wrote it perfectly. It was fantastic. The cinematography of this movie is a very distinct cinematography, and I think it was really, really good. It really paid off. It's a very weird tone, but I think, again, the cinematography was done in a very good way. I've heard many people say, excuse me, excuse me, I've heard many people say that this is basically just a love story that, is just really strange, and honestly, I'd agree with that statement. I would. Sorry, guys. I really would agree with that statement that this is just a modern love story. I really, this is just a love story that's just very strange, and it's edited in a very weird way. Definitely the editing is very strange in this movie, but it works very well. Also, the score to this movie was, like, spot on. I love the score, honestly. I was surprised by how well the score fit into this movie. It honestly worked perfectly. I love the score. I thought the score was fantastic, and I really did love that. I also really love the message of how we all are kind of like Barry, in the sense that we all are kind of worried if we want to take that step forward, and we all are in that awkward stage, and Barry really is in that awkward stage of he hasn't had a lot of friends, he's not very successful, he's had a lot of people ridiculing him and insulting him. He's just really nervous about going into that next step, and I think they did a great job with showing that in the movie. I thought that was definitely very good. And the way the movie ended as well, I thought was fantastic. Definitely did a great job with that. What's interesting about this movie is that this movie actually bombed when it came out. It didn't get a lot of award recognition. The only award recognition it got was Adam Sandler was nominated for Best Actor in the Golden Globe. I wish he would get nominated for the Oscars. He should have. He should have gotten it, because he's amazing in this movie. And honestly, I feel like if Adam Sandler would have gotten nominated for an Oscar, maybe he would be doing more movies like this, because this is what Adam Sandler needs to do. I'm not saying he's not great in comedies, but I'm saying here this is more what he needs to do, really, if he wants to prove that he's a great actor. Because he can be a great actor with movies like this. And there are comedies that he's done a very great job with and that are very funny. But from a movie like this, he really handled everything perfectly. And I think just the way they did that was great as well. The way the movie ended, I thought was fantastic. I thought, honestly, it was probably the perfect way to end the movie. And, yeah, so I do want to talk about some spoilers for Punch Drunk Love, because I want to talk about one of the things that I thought was the most amazing about Punch Drunk Love. And if you guys haven't seen Punch Drunk Love, please see it. It's an amazing movie. But I do want to talk about this one spoiler that, it's not that big of a spoiler, but it is. Let's just get into it. So, of course, let's talk about Georgia. Georgia, of course, the girl that, Barry calls on that phone sex line. I didn't expect that to be a huge deal. I expected this to be, like, a one-time scene just to show how lonely he was. But holy shit, that became a huge part of the plot. I mean, how Georgia, basically, her real name was, I don't remember her real, that wasn't even her real name. How she tricked him, how she got these guys to go after him, including Philip Seymour Hoffman. I mean, that whole scene that he has with Philip Seymour Hoffman, it was amazing, really. I was like, holy shit, this is huge. But, of course, she goes after him, and, like, she just wants money from him. It really shows, I mean, how, you can get scammed by phone sex lines like that. I thought they definitely did a very good job showing that. The movie is very realistic as well. I forgot to say that. This is a very realistic tone. It has a very distinct, realistic style to it, and it really feels real. It feels like this could actually happen. I think they did a great job with that, definitely. So overall, guys, and also, just the way the movie ended with Barry saying to Lena that he loves her, and that basically she told him, here we go. That basically is showing that they're going to do this together. They're going to take this next step, and that was awesome. So overall, guys, I absolutely love Punch Drunk Love. I think it is an absolute masterpiece. It's a movie that I really feel you guys need to see it. It honestly works as a good first Paul Thomas Anderson movie. I think it works very well. It made me very interested in his other movies. I know it's different than his other movies, but it did make me interested in what else this guy has to offer. But that's basically my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys saw this movie. You have seen it. I think this movie's amazing. I will see you guys in the next video, which will be for another classic movie review, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.